You're watching On the Record here on CNN Philippines. I'm Pia Ontiveros. Men and women are said to be created equal, but is it just a concept? How far have women come, especially when it comes to leadership roles? What can we learn from successful women, or usually we call them power women, in pressing for progress in their own fields? Let's talk to two of the most influential women here in the country. With us, former athlete and TV personality Mikey Cojuangco Jaworski and entrepreneur Elizabeth Lee. Seasoned journalist Checher Lazaro will be joining us in just a bit. There was a little bit of a reaction when I said most influential women in the country. Are you in denial, Mikey?
I've never been called that.
You can't deny that. You can't
Well,
deny
it is International Women's Day.
Oh, wow.
And that's why you're
the
here.
right show.
Yes, you are. You're on the right show.
So we're greeting everyone, no?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Well, let's begin with this. Hindi ba, well, International Women's Day. Have you heard of that female version of the three wise men? You know, if they had been three wise women or three queens in this case, they would have cleaned up the baby Jesus. They would have cleaned the stable, cooked
I'm used
some
to that.
broth. Yeah.
Cleaning stables.
Cleaning stables.
I grew up doing
Literally.
a lot. Literally.
Literally, huh?
A
Oh.
volunteer.
But yours is
for that
nice,
job.
though, yeah.
Well, if it's dirty, it's still dirty.
That's true.
But you do clean the stables
Yeah,
yourself?
it's part of it. It's part of it.
Ah, okay. So being a woman doesn't exempt you from
Not at
cleaning
all.
the horses' stables. No. Okay. But okay. So apart from the literally, have you had those moments in your life, in your history, or her story, your life, your career, etc. No, na parang kayo yung three wise women, or you were one of the three wise women. Beth?
Nako. No, but you know, kasi actually being female, you know, for example, in a male-dominated industry,
Yeah.
I think it's a positive thing because you
Yes.
naturally stick out, and I think the difference there is I think women have more empathy. So I think that's one of the things. But apart from that, you know, it's as you know, results is what matters in the end.
It's
So,
delivering, no?
Yeah.
But you deliver eh. Diba?
We try, you know, but
Yeah.
you know, it's still, you know, is there that ceiling? It's still there. Is it getting, you know, broken down? Yes, it is. But you know, we have to really face it that, you know, women still have, you know, a lot of challenges to go through by being female.
There are some organizations that are deliberate about gender equality, and for the women who do have the opportunity to be in those organizations, maybe there's a bit more to prove, but then I think it works less if you feel that you have something to prove.
Yeah.
So it's just really in enhancing and in bringing out the strengths of women. I am not a believer, even if I am an athlete and I live off competition, I don't believe in competition with gender.
Yeah, because it's a mindset, right?
Yeah.
It's a mindset. So
Yeah.
you don't say that, oh my gosh, you know, we're kind of like one off because you're female. No, you don't even think about it. You
Yes,
just do it.
yeah, you
just
just
do
do
it.
it. Yeah.
Oo. Oo. So it's not something like, you know, I'm going to succeed or I'm going to get noticed because I'm a woman, or hindi
No,
naman,
I don't
ano?
think
No,
I
if that
think that
happens, then
way.
it's a plus. But you don't.
It's a plus, no? But
it's a plus, but it's not like, oh my gosh.
It's not the be all and end all, di ba?
Yeah.
And you don't want to get ahead because you're a woman.
Yeah.
No.
Parang,
Yeah, you don't
"Hindi,
wanna-
i-promote natin
Yeah.
yun kasi babae yan
Kasi
because we
babae,
have to have
yeah.
gender equality in
Yes.
this place." No,
Yes.
that's not fair.
No.
You want to deserve it.
Yeah, that's right.
Oo, okay. Well, so we don't really have those parang three wise women moments in our lives, and like you were saying, parang you'd rather deserve it than parang be told na, oh, you know, you won the competition, or you were made the president of this association because you're a woman.
As long as
Hindi
they
ganun.
don't regret it.
No, but that's why it's really, you know, it's results that matter. And then also, I think, you know, for at least from my point of view, as when I was the president of CAMPI and all the members were actually men, I was so privileged also because they're gentlemen. So you get to learn
You learn
also
from
a lot
them.
from them.
They mentored you
Yes.
also, hindi ba?
Yes,
Oh.
yes. So I was very blessed,
Yeah.
and there was a very good rapport also, and then we're very fair. So that was a huge opportunity also. But
And
I didn't go in,
yeah.
thinking that, oh my gosh, I'm female, so
Yeah.
therefore.
And they didn't see you as, oh, the first female president, the youngest female president. Hindi ganon.
No,
Like
no.
you said, it's more the results, it's more delivering.
Yeah.
And if you deliver, then
Because if you
that's what's
didn't-
important. It's not it, and hindi yung she delivered because she's female or
Yes.
because she was trying to prove something because she's female.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I have to admit my entry into the International Olympic Committee was at a time when they were looking for more women and younger women to do that. But I choose not to see it as a consolation prize.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those opportunities that does come your way, and you just hope that you can somehow carve a path that can open doors for other women also to
Be
be
an
more
example.
welcome.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but you're right. I don't look at myself and say, "Oh, because I'm a woman," or "I'm a woman, I do this or do that." And when there are more mature members in the organization, you're a piece in the puzzle, and they're happy to have you fill that role.
Yeah. So you felt that way. You've carved out a path. The both of you, you've carved out a path for younger women in your industry or in your line of work.
Maybe not yet. I hope to get there. I hope to.
But I
get
think it's good that there's more and more women, like now in the auto industry. I mean, women now are, close to like a dime a dozen now. So it's good. And I think if we see, women who are ahead of us that can do, large things, then it kind of inspires you to say that, well, if she can do it, then I can do it also.
And I think to learn from each other is really important. To learn from each other and be there for each other, because when we work, we also need to have that level of comfort or friendship,
Yes, and support.
And support.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to have someone to exchange ideas with and to just check yourself off from. And that's been one of the things that has been very helpful for me in what I'm doing and traveling a lot and being away a lot. It's been really great for me to make friends and other women as well. I'm older, but I think in a way to be able to support each other and acknowledge that we're not the same as men, but there are ways that we think that are very different, and to be part of making a decision based on the way we think normally and naturally, not trying to be like a man.
But to
is-
complement also.
But to complement it is the strength.
Yeah, I think so. I agree.
Yeah. Earlier, Beth, you're talking about men and women. When you were in the lounge waitings, you met one of our producers, Joseph Catani. Well, let me just say, it was so cute, no, the encounter. So, this is Beth Lee. Oh, hi, ma'am. And then you said, no, call me Beth. Oh, sige, sir na lang.
Talaga, Joseph, ha?
Bakit ganon?
Hindi ko nga alam eh.
Bakit kaya ganon? Pero may ganon, parang sir, ma'am, or
Or ma'am, sir.
ma'am, sir.
Yeah, because we have to be all neutral, I guess,
It's
or
like a
universal.
compliment also na parang sinusir ka na rin. Ganon ba yun? Ganon ba yun?
I don't know. I hope I don't look like a sir.
No, I don't know. Siguro because, pag sir, para bang
Yeah, it's
may
parang you have a
level
little
of
bit. Oo.
a bit more
Maybe
authority.
his frame of mind is just on Women's Days.
Everybody feels
Everybody feels Women's Days.
Yeah, the three wise women, sir, not ma'am, etc. Are there times in your life na ginagamit nyo yung pagkababae nyo? Ganun ba? Kasi di ba, no, because it's the reverse of don't do that to me because don't think badly of me and say kaya ka emotional kasi babae ka or ito naman baliktad eh.
Yes,
Gagamitin mo yung pagkababae mo rin.
I'll share with you one little tidbit. This is coming from, of course, a male that made this comment.
Yeah.
And he was telling me, he said, well, you seem like you're successful. I'm sure you use your charm. So in a kind of derogatory way of saying that, I'm sure you use your charm, like, that's all you got. So I think, charm can only get you so far.
Right.
But after the 2 seconds of charm, if you're not credible, charm's not going to do you any good after that. So it really takes more than that, and it's a good thing that men like that who made that comment are few and far between.
Yeah. Oh.
At least here in the Philippines, Filipino women, Filipino men are actually they themselves are charming, and they're magalang. So
Yeah.
we don't have that kind of a situation here
Yeah.
in the
But
Philippines.
also, what's wrong with charm?
That's right.
Exactly.
So
What's wrong with being charming?
Exactly.
Diba?
So,
Right?
so it was kind of like, the way it was said is like, it's just charm, and that's all you got, and that's where
Oh,
you...
hindi naman. Parang,
Hindi, oo. So
parang-
it's like...
yeah. So it's like you're saying, Beth,
If you
you're saying,
think it's
I am charming, but... Di ba ganon?
I'm sorry you're not.
dapat ba?
Yeah, I don't.
Dapat tatlo tayo dun in that
Oo nga eh. But I don't have a problem if someone's
Yeah.
gonna say, "Oh, ladies first." I'm not
Yeah.
going to say,
Yes.
"Excuse me."
Yeah.
Yeah, oo.
I
Or
think
pwede
that's
rin
Charm
taking
helps.
advantage.
Yeah,
Charm
and
helps,
there's really
oo.
nothing wrong with that. But to
Yeah,
say
oo.
that, because you're female and to get ahead, it really is more charm than brains. And I think you need both.
Yeah, okay.
It's good to have both.
So when somebody says ladies first, what do you say?
Thank you.
Thank you. Ganon.
Why
Ako,
not?
ako sasabihin ko, age. Age before beauty. And on that note, we need to take a break. You're watching On The Record. If you have comments, please join our conversation on our social media pages at CNN Philippines. Stay with us. We'll be right back. This is On The Record on CNN Philippines. We're talking about gender equality and women assuming leadership roles. Still with us, former athlete Mikey Cojuangco Jaworski and entrepreneur Elizabeth Lee. Cheche Lazaro, broadcast journalist, is going to be joining us in just a bit. Beth, I want to go back to the... Don't worry, I won't ask who that was. No? Ang tatanungin ko na lang is, ano yung sagot mo sa kanya when he said that?
I actually did not. I
Hindi mo
did not-
pinatulan?
I did not. Yes, hindi ko siya pinatulan. I mean,
Okay.
it actually speaks of himself than of the person he was talking to. So I didn't say what was on my mind. I just kept quiet, and I just kind of like ignored him, and then continued the conversation with the other guys that was in this conversation.
Okay, so your response was silence.
Yes.
And that was very deafening. You think he got the message?
I think so.
You think so?
I think so.
Kumusta na siya ngayon? Okay,
Hindi ko
next
na
topic. Okay, all right. In this country, I mean, you're both successful, no, and then, but not everybody is. Like you said earlier, no, in the first gap, but we still do have a long way to go, no. So, where are we in terms of, for example, women getting equal pay? Women in management positions, how do you look at it now, Beth?
I look at it in this way, between somebody who is employed and somebody who is an entrepreneur. I think in that trend, no? So more and more, I think women, in fact, I think more than half of entrepreneurs now are led by women. That's according to the DTI statistics.
Yeah.
And one of those things is actually empowerment. Things have changed now. Younger and younger women are starting their own businesses. So it's more of like, I want to be my own boss. So that's a trend that's changing now that I think is a positive change.
And why is that? Why do we have more and more younger women who are leading entrepreneurial?
Because I think a lot of information and tools are available now versus before. Information, assistance, even from the government. But starting your own business is easier now with far more gadgets and tools and resources than it was before. So if you were going to start a business, I think there is this global trend that now is the time to actually start something. So, but here in the Philippines, particularly, more than half of entrepreneurs are led by women. And then if you go down the strata of the MSMEs, majority of them are actually women.
Yeah, and there's a lot of funding, for women-led entrepreneurships. And like there was a Go Negosyo event yesterday.
Yes.
Women, all these women awardees.
Yes.
Well, people
Mikey.
are finally getting the message, I think.
Yeah.
And I have to say, as an IOC member, I go to a lot of different places in the world, and the more I appreciate the Filipino culture also, because like you said, actually Filipino men, when they're secure, they do allow the women to shine, and Filipino men
That's
do
right.
support the women. There are
That's true.
many things that women go through: pregnancy, childbirth. These are things that limit in many ways the physical things that we can do, especially in sports. But the men are now more accepting of successful women. And I think especially in our country. So I say it all the time, and now it applies to more things in my life than just values or faith. But people from other countries, when they see us, they want to be like us because we do have a more open culture in many ways compared to other cultures. Our women are quite respected.
Yes.
And I think that if Filipino women also looked at themselves and felt that I can do more and be more, then the momentum will keep going. There still is work to do, but a lot of it also depends on us and the way we see ourselves and the way we project ourselves and apply ourselves, so that men stop looking at us and saying woman and just peer.
Right.
So parang a key ingredient would be the support of, well, if you're married, then your husband, for example. In your case, di ba?
I would not be able to do the things that I do if my husband was not as supportive as he is. And also, I grew up in a house full of women because we're 5 girls. We have no brother. Of course, our mom.
And you had your mom to look up to.
and our mom. So
who broke so many barriers.
Yes, she absolutely did. And even in my own mind,
Tinting ko ako. Let's just say that. Okay.
Mom, happy Mother's Day. She did break a lot of barriers because even with me, as a middle child, 5 girls, she taught me to look at every opportunity as an adventure. And I think to be able to look at it that way and for someone to say, actually, it's okay to fail.
Yeah.
You just have to pick yourself up after that. And to have a lot of women around me who had their own struggles, I think made it a fun challenge and an adventure to try to achieve or to try to find fulfillment in everything that we did. So then you do carve your own path when you do that.
So we talked about Mikey's growing up years. Let's talk about Bethley's growing up years also. What was it like? What kind of household did you grow up in? What kind of a family did you grow up in so that you could end up like this?
Actually, well, our family is in the auto industry, so it's a male-dominated industry. But then when I started, it wasn't really because it's family, but more of like when I was with SGV, that was the first client that I had. But going into the auto industry, I like cars anyway to begin with. So I've been very much encouraged, especially my mom. My mom's is a very strong sort of like inspiration for me as well, because she was a strong woman in her industry in her time.
In her industry?
Printing, yes.
Okay.
And she was the only female at that time who was
okay.
heading this company that does printing.
What company was that?
It was a PaperCon, and we printed things for Mattel products, Barbies.
Barbie.
The boxes.
Mattel.
The boxes.
Yes, yes, the
Barbie.
boxes. Yes, the
They
boxes.
come up with international
So-
things. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I have a strong female example, who's my mom, is also very encouraging, and my brothers also have 2
And in
brothers.
in one sentence, how was she able to end up like that?
Oh my gosh. I'll have to ask. But her I mean, she's always, you won't know until you try.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if failure is a necessity for success.
Yes, absolutely.
So you cannot be successful without failure. So you have to be thankful that you have these things, but learn. Learn from it, pick yourself up, get up, and do again.
Yeah.
Pick yourself up. Keep picking yourself up.
Yes,
Right. The
yes.
lessons from
And learn, yeah.
your family.
Learn.
Yeah.
And learn all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, we're going to go to a break so that you can call your mom. We'll take a short break. You're watching On the Record. When we come back, Cheche Lazaro is going to be joining us here. This is CNN Philippines. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Cheche Lazaro now with us, Mikey Kowanka Jaworski, and Elizabeth Lee on the record. It is International Women's Day. I can't say Cheche, nakakahiya, because I've always called you Mrs. L. Hi, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, or sir na lang. Hindi kanina ba?
Yeah, my name is Cheche.
Oh, yeah, but you know, you're also... It's okay.
Yeah, are you invoking age? Don't
No,
invoke
no, no,
age.
no,
That's
no,
not
we're
fair.
not. No, we're not invoking age. We're invoking beauty here.
Ah, okay.
Cheche Lazaro. Ma'am, you know, we were talking at the very beginning, sabi ko nga, you know, there's this female version of the three wise men.
Yes.
If they were women, they would have cleaned the stable, cleaned up the baby Jesus, cooked some
Yes.
broth, etc. You know, it's an
Yes.
old joke, no? So, and, you know, parang just a little bit of a reflection on your life. You know, did you have those three wise women moments in your life na you felt na dahil ako yung pumasok dito sa eksena, maayos or stuff?
Well, I do believe that joke is quite true. I think it's rooted in some kind of truth, because a woman, her brain is configured in a different way. There was a study made, and that the brain of the woman, the highways and the brain of the woman are much wider. So we are more intuitive. We have abilities to multitask. The men have very narrower passageways, so they can only think in one direction. But women have the ability to do lots of things, and I think that applies to all women. I mean, look at somebody who just stays home, and it's not just stays home because she has a full-time job.
Yeah.
She does
Homemaker is like, you're
That
multitasking all the time, hindi ba?
Correct, yeah. Taking care of children, the home, your husband, your relatives, your sisters, your brothers. And I really am a fan of women. So happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day also, ma'am.
See the wisest.
Yeah, the wisest of the
We already voted
three
you the
wise
wisest.
women.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's an allusion to age here.
No.
It's region 3. There's
No,
three
we
wise
object.
women. Yeah.
Yes,
Yung nga
yes.
lang na traffic kayo, di ba? So you follow the wrong store or something.
Yeah. You can say that. Well, you know, in this case, I was probably really dead wrong.
Okay. Mrs. L, when you, sorry, I'm so used to that. Oh, Mrs. L, when you, and this is
I'll
something
call
we
you
called
Tita Pia.
Okay, sige na. No, this is something we called you way back in ABS-CBN because
Yes.
you were there. You were the head of
Yes.
public affairs at the
Yes.
time. That's where you started Probe.
Yes, that's
right?
true.
Before you put up Probe Productions as a company.
Uh-huh.
When you were starting out in that day and age, what was it like? You know, did they? How did they treat you? Did they treat you a certain way because you're a woman, or you know they didn't look at you as a woman but just as a journalist, or paano?
Well, you know, at the time that we were starting the investigative format, the NPA was the story. So to get the NPA story, you had to go into the mountains to try and contact the NPAs, be with them, be at their camps, observe and do a story. And I remember one of the higher executives in the station said, ano, pupunta si Cheche dyan? Papayagan ba yan ng asawa niya? This was the question. And I think it's the mindset of men, right? That if you're going to do something dangerous, you have to ask permission. You can't do it on your own. You have to be supported. And I guess our answer there was quite decent. We said, you know, we'll try. And sure enough, we went up into the mountains. We got the story. It was fraught with danger. To a certain extent. But then I think women and journalists, as a general rule, have that desire, right? You have it. It's in your DNA. You want to do something. You want to accomplish something.
And we'll get it done.
And get it done. And get it done well. But also on our in that same venture, we were also more daring because we were younger. I think as you age, you become more cautious, right, ladies? You become more cautious because you're more aware of the responsibilities you have.
Yeah.
But when you're much younger, you don't really have a family to take care of, nor do you have any of these preconceived fears. You know, when you're young, you think you know everything, as they
you
say.
feel immortal.
Yeah, you think you're
Invincible.
immortal. Invincible. Yeah, that's right. Immortal.
At
and
this age, you're medyo mortal na.
Mortality is such a big issue now. Yes. Yes. So you were daring, and so you combine being a woman who is being challenged with the question, can she do it? That's one. And then your youth, which makes you more aggressive and more daring. And then, of course, there's that adrenaline rush that every journalist gets when there's a breaking story. I mean, you've done it, you've gone through it, and you know that feeling. You just have to do it, and never mind. Let's just talk about what happened later, but let's get the story done.
Kanina, Mikey was talking about how, and I will paraphrase, how you're able to do what you do because you have a supportive husband, somebody who believes in you. Malaking tulong din yon. And well, Cheche Lazaro has Del Lazaro also. A lot of people see you not just as a very accomplished journalist or a very accomplished Filipina, but someone who has been able to balance things, have a career and have a home life and have a good marriage, because you have a good partner also.
Yes, that's very important. I think that's, they always say that your partner in life is a reflection of who you are and the values that you stand for. So there's no such thing as a separation, like the man is like this and the woman is like this. It's always because the man is like this, because the woman is like this, or vice versa. You are really a reflection of that union. And I think it's very important. It's easier said than done to say, get a good mate. Beth? This is
that segue, man.
Yeah, this is our running story with Beth. Beth is a dear friend. It's a running story.
My idol, this.
Because she's one of the most eligible ladies I know, accomplished and does not have an edge. I mean, she's very refined and very accomplished, but she doesn't flaunt it, right? She doesn't flaunt it. But I think it's very important, and it's worth telling young women that in choosing your mate, it's just as important as choosing your career path. We always say for careers, take on a job that you enjoy, because you'll never work a day in your life. And that's true. If you pick something, you will work without counting the hours. You will put as much effort as you can without thinking of the cost. In choosing a mate, I think that's also true, because it's a permanent decision, or at least in our society, we consider it a permanent decision. And if you make a mistake at the get-go, it's a lifetime error.
Okay. We're going to wrap things up in about 3 minutes, but to do that, I wanted to ask you a question, the three of you. What is it about being a woman in this day and age that makes it really great, that you're thankful for, that you're grateful for? Let's begin with Mikey Wangko Jaworski.
What I'm grateful for being a woman is, well, I don't really know life any other way, but I feel really blessed to know that I am what I'm meant to be, where I'm meant to be, and doing exactly what I'm meant to be based on God's plan. And I have a lot of joy putting in effort to do my best, be my best, and to do it respectfully of everybody that's around me. I just want to be someone who's contributing something. And let's see where that goes. But I would not want to be doing that as anything other than a woman, which is me.
Thank you.
Pwede ko bang i-second yung motion?
Pwede mo ring dagdagan.
Dagdagan niya. But really, to add to that, I think also is now is such a huge opportunity to be able to do a lot of things. One is, creating an impact. And I think with women, having also being able to empathize in the social ills that we're facing today, I think that is a huge advantage which we can use. So I think being a woman in this day and age, to be able to do something that would bring you joy and to create an impact and to make a difference in someone else's life, you become now an example for other, not only just women, but men also to follow, young and older. So I think it's a fantastic time to be where we are today in in the Philippines, because here women are actually put on a pedestal to a certain extent. So I think being a woman in this day and age and in the Philippines is a fantastic opportunity to make an impact.
And I'm sure you are also the example. Earlier we were talking about women entrepreneurs, diba? Now, half of them are women,
Yes.
many of them very young. I'm sure they also look up to you, no? And say, now
Oh, my.
one day I'm going to be Elizabeth
I want to
Lee.
be like her.
I want to be just like her.
I
when
think I
grow
want to
up.
be like you.
And Cheche Lazaro.
And to add on to what Beth has said, being a woman in this day and age is a privilege, actually, and being a Filipino woman is a special privilege. We live in a matriarchal society, but ironically, being a woman is being attacked from all sides. We are being maligned in some sectors, we are being made fun of in some sectors, and that is ironic because we live in a matriarchal society. And when you look back at all of the accomplishments of the Filipino women who have gone ahead of us, they have been at the head of movements in the suffrage area to get our vote out there, in leadership roles, in entrepreneurship roles, mothers who have been able to straddle both supporting the family and taking care of the family. And in the worldwide context, women are now coming of age. But while every other sector in the world is trying to liberate their women, the Filipino woman has been liberated long ago. But there's much more to be done because there are women who are still oppressed. There are still women who have no voice. And as women in our positions, I think we have a unique responsibility to let that voice be heard.
Thank you very much to our guests tonight on the Record, the three wise women. Mikey Cojuangco-Jaworski, thank you, Mikey.
Thanks.
Elizabeth Lee, thank you very much, Beth. And Cheche Lim Lazaro. Thank you, Mrs. L. Thank you so much for being here. The three of you, that is it for tonight. Thank you for your time. I'm Pio Ontiveros. See you again next week for On the Record.